We ought to be moving as if we were, literally at war. The Pentagon used to have, until Trump came in, a climate office where people were really focused on what are the compounded threats that come from the climate crisis. And they range from, things like Norfolk, Virginia, where we have the largest Navy port, and our fleet is positioned there. Well, already a few years ago when I was Secretary of State, I went down there and I was briefed by the Admiral, who was the commander of the base, and they said, we're looking at how we're going to actually get our people to the base, to the ships in the event of an emergency. They're going to have to rebuild massive resources there because some of it's going to go underwater as sea level rise increases. But, you run around the world, there are populations in certain parts of the world already poor, already without the kinds of resources that a lot of people have in their countries. And as their country maybe becomes completely uninhabitable, last year in parts of the Middle East, it was 130 degrees Fahrenheit. In Antarctica, it was 70 degrees, which obviously has a profound impact on the ice melting, therefore sea level rise. But all of these things compound on each other. So fragile populations will be at great risk. And if they're living in one of those uninhabitable areas, what do you think they're going to do the minute that it gets that bad? They're going to move. And they're going to move en masse. And so you're going to have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of people who can't live where they have been living. Therefore, where do they go? Are they going to knock on the door of Europe the way refugees did out of Syria and Turkey during the war in Syria? You have the potential with the melting of ice that the supply of water that annually flows into the great rivers of the world that feed people and around which they live, the Yangtze, the Ganges, the Yellow River, the Mekong River. There are massive rivers out there that depend on the Himalayas for the flow. If that melts off over the next century, 2 centuries, then you're going to have, again, massive dislocation. And what the Pentagon decided in the analyses they made when they had the office is that climate crisis, climate change, is a threat multiplier. It just grows different threats. And we need to understand that better, which is why today, President Biden signed an executive order requiring our 17 different intelligence units, our intelligence agencies, to all come together with an intelligence assessment of the impact of climate to our security. So we're starting really to make up for lost time and deal with this in a very, very serious way that we ought to be.